Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris, and first off, gotta say,
Spoilers for Avengers Endgame. Spoilers for Avengers Endgame.
you have been warned. Thanks to you lovely supportive people who enjoyed my last Spider-Man video where I touched upon the theory that MJ could possibly be Nick Fury's daughter in Spider-Man Far From Home. I'll link that down below or card right above me, but then you guys started fluttering my Twitter with some of this new information provided by Jeremy Conrad from MCU Cosmic, claiming to know exactly what they're going to be showing us in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer coming out Monday, tomorrow. And yeah, that is right, the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer will be coming out Monday morning, and the Russo brothers themselves said that the Avengers Endgame spoilers will be lifted because the trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home will be a spoiler in itself for how Endgame ended. That gives us a pretty clear idea that they're going to go ahead and touch upon the fact that people showed up 5 years later, still the same age, how Peter Parker is feeling about the loss of his mentor, Tony Stark, just repercussions like that, and one of them actually being that Mysterio, the villain of this movie, is actually from a different timeline. In here, the article is stating that Mysterio will actually be coming from an alternate reality, one that was actually messed up in the process of the Avengers trying to get all the stones from their different timelines. This is a consequence that Baron Mordo teased to Doctor Strange a long time ago, that if you mess with time, the bill will come due. And we got a second helping of that with the Ancient One speaking to Bruce Banner, saying that if you mess with the timeline, there's some repercussions. And this will actually not be a big secret in the movie. Nick Fury will be aware that this guy's from an alternate reality, and that's why he brought him into S.H.I.E.L.D. and introduced him to Spider-Man to be like, hey, this guy knows the future, he comes from another reality, we gotta help him out. Which is most likely gonna be the MacGuffin of the movie. Mysterio is most likely looking for a teleportation device to either go back to his reality, or like we know Mysterio to be, he could be lying about the whole thing and is just trying to go to a reality where maybe he can be his own superhero, be a Spider-Man wannabe, because we all know that boy's responsible for the elemental showing up. But if this turns out to be fact, there's actually a lot of genius things that Marvel and Sony are actually going to be doing with this. For one, it gives a new meaning to the title, Spider-Man Far From Home. Now it no longer applies to Spider-Man being far from his home, traveling to other countries. It could also apply to Mysterio being far from his timeline, far from home. Hell, I think this even kind of gives away the ending of the movie. I would bet you that Spider-Man ends up in a different timeline by the end of the movie. Because if you don't know, the contract with Sony and Marvel where they teamed up to let Spider-Man be in the MCU is over after Far From Home. They have to renegotiate and come up with a new contract for more Spider-Man movies to be in the MCU. And if they can't come to terms with a good contract, Sony just discovered they're a scapegoat for out of the MCU and keeping Tom Holland as their Spider-Man. Because if the movie ends with Spider-Man in a different reality, I bet you he's going to show up in the reality where Eddie Brock is Venom and where that Morbius movie is being made. And then Sony gets to have their cake and eat it too, being like, we keep Tom Holland as Spider-Man and now he's part of this universe. But hopefully they actually can come to terms with a good contract and Spider-Man will continue being part of the MCU. Aside from that though, seeing the leaps of faith that Marvel took with the end of Endgame, like making Falcon the new Captain America, I wouldn't put it past them to start planting that seed for a Spider-Verse movie with Tom Holland. Tobey Maguire has confirmed that he'd be up to join the MCU if a role came to him. Andrew Garfield said hell yeah, he would do it too. He loves the character of Spider-Man, so why not? You got two actors who are willing to, and Tom Holland racing through different dimensions with the Spider-Mans we all love. You could take my money now. Other details from this article point out that Mysterio might actually be a sorcerer, and that would make sense if you look at the first trailer and the way he conjures up his magic. It looks a lot like the shields that are generated by Doctor Strange. But I mean, we all know in the comics, Mysterio's a fraud. He's always faking things, but Marvel could choose to play it different. He might actually be a sorcerer, but he could just be pretending to be a false hero by helping Spider-Man fight Hydro Man and Molten Man. Anyways, guys, that just explains how Tom Holland could leave the MCU, be part of the Sony multiverse, or how Marvel could be setting up a Spider-Verse. We'll all find out when that trailer releases. What do you guys think about this? Let me know down below your thoughts. If you could add anything to the theory or if you can disprove the theory, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.